Yeah, what's going on? It's your boy Deuce Wayne.
What's good? What's good? What's good? It's Big Merv in the building. You already know what's good.
Yes, sir. The building for sure. We at the arena, man.
Oh yeah, this is not fake behind us, ladies and gentlemen. This is real. This is real.
Yeah, there ain't no green screen.
Ain't no green screen.
Nah, changing locations, but keeping the pod the same. It's Scene DMs. We are back for a new edition, another episode. But before we get into it, Merv, man, it's the offseason in the NBA when it comes to basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Anything or any movements, any trades, any signings, any surprises, anything that has kind of caught your attention when it comes to basketball in the offseason?
I think the Kevin Durant trade caught my attention. Was surprised about the Jalen Green trade being included in that trade, especially Dylan Brooks as well, being a defensive anchor on that team. But man, sometimes people swing for the fences and want Kevin Durant, you know what I mean? And when you get an opportunity to get such a polarizing player, I mean, you got to take the risk, I guess. So that's one of the most surprising ones I saw. What about you?
For me, I was kind of surprised about the Dame thing, about how Milwaukee was going about that, getting waived, stretching his contract over the next few years. Thought that was pretty telling. And then obviously seeing Dame and how he feels about it being
cheesed.
Yeah, he's tight.
As he should be.
Talking about, I'm a gamble or let him know I'm a lottery pick type of vibe. So it's going to be motivation for him, hoping that he comes back to full effect. Yeah. What it's like to have that type of injury. So again, hoping that Dame comes back. But that was surprising to me, especially because I'm not understanding what that was all for. You got Miles Turner, but how does that help out Giannis and wanting him to stay in Milwaukee?
I mean, because Miles Turner is a more mobile, more athletic Brook Lopez.
Yep.
Actually will play defense, stretches the floor. Maybe doesn't rebound as well as he should at that height, but he definitely plays defense and brings that 3-and-D kind of energy from a 5 position. So I think for Giannis, that helps Giannis. Dame is not gonna be able to play all next season anyway, so Giannis is probably like, it's a gamble, whatever. But at the same time, it's just like, yo, we need something right now, and they're gonna get that thing right now. So I think that's what it is. It's I don't agree with it, but I can see why maybe the organization kind of went to him and was like, yo, fam, just relax.
Yeah.
Yes, we got rid of Dame, but we got a player that can also help you in position. Dame's not gonna be able to play next year, so that's probably how they sold it, and Giannis was probably cool with it. So.
But like you said, speaking of Houston, I like their chances. KD's a part of a crazy team right now. They have Fred VanVleet. I saw Dorian Finney-Smith. Lakers couldn't get him back, and he's over there at Houston, so that helps out a lot. Obviously, they got the athletic twins over there. Man, that's a young team, but also with that veteran presence, you have Steven Adams holding the paint down. So be on the lookout for Houston. Definitely favorites for the next season.
Yeah.
But let's hop into the movies. Just over halfway through the year, man. We are in the month of July, and it's a crazy month. Blockbusters are back. Cinema is back. Merv and I can attest to it. We actually recently just saw Jurassic Park Rebirth, which we'll be talking about. Sneak peek for next episode. Little plug there. But going to the movies consistently, and on that particular watch, we went on a Wednesday. And when I say Merv and I had to go and find parking, we were like, what's going on? Wait, hold on. What's going on right now? Why is the parking lot packed?
Pack up still.
It's Wednesday. Early release for Jurassic Park. We didn't think anybody cared but us.
Man, everybody did care.
They cared. It was packed in there. Merv, are movies back? Is cinema back?
Yo, man, I think the best time for movies historically has always been in the summertime, man. And when you come with blockbuster after blockbuster after blockbuster, or good film after good film and then bad film, it's obviously bound for the summer to look very good with films. And I think summertime was my favorite time to watch movies because I knew that that was a hot spot. You know what I mean? That's what everybody put there. Either blockbuster movies or those summer movies where it's like you felt something, you know what I mean? So, man, I don't say movies are back. I think movies have been here. I think obviously the last couple of years have been tough, obviously, but I think that with the help of Tom Cruise and a lot of different people, like I think the summers have been taken back over by movies. So
yeah, I agree. I think I read a study somewhere where it said in the next few years, just because of the lack of the sales of the revenue since not being able to recover since COVID, that the movie theater business and that model would be a dying breed, might even be extinct within 10 years. So the fact that
they don't do that, man.
Exactly. So the fact that obviously because of streaming, all the other factors and the variables, but the fact that people are getting out and going to support these films, I think it started off a little grim, but once Sinners hit, I think we went on a hot streak when it came to cinema, like you said, movie after movie. You know, Final Destination, you know, Accountant 2. But before let's talk about that. What 5 films have been the standout so far for 2025 in your opinion? Let's just try and come up with a 5.
So mine would obviously be Sinners. I think we can unanimously say Sinners
would definitely be on there.
Has a good one. I had a little list here of movies. I would say Sinners.
Yep.
For sure. I would think Final Destination.
Yes.
Was another one banger that was you know what I mean, one of those ones where I wasn't sure about, didn't think we needed it, but once I watched it I was like, yo, you know, I'm glad you guys made it. With the new technology and new graphics, I think it was a great movie, man.
Yeah.
The next one I would have to say is Warfare, man. Warfare was a good one.
Yeah,
it was also a pretty intense one, man, with how intense and the noise and man, it was just you got sucked into the army kind of feel and everything going on with that. So that was pretty good. I'll say One of Them Days was actually a really good one.
Sure.
With SZA and Keke Palmer. I thought it was a really good movie as well. I really enjoyed that one.
I feel that's gonna be one of them classics in a couple of years, or even when we have kids, it's gonna be like, remember that? That's gonna be like their Friday.
Exactly. I definitely think it will be. It had like a, I don't know if they meant for it to be like a classic like that, but they just made like a pretty classic film that was just like very down to earth, that people were just like, you know, I resonate with this kind of a little bit. You know what I mean? So.
Are you having a heart attack?
Oh my God, ma'am.
Are you okay?
Are you? I've never seen a credit score this low.
Well,
Oh my
when I went to business school, I had to get a loan. I'm, trying to figure out how to make everything back.
So bad. It's so bad.
I know. You got problems.
Oh.
You act like we in Beverly Hills or somewhere, girl. You in the hood, too.
I'll say that. Another one I'll say is obviously Ballerina. We talked about in our previous episode. Ballerina was really good.
Team Flamethrower.
Wasn't sure how it would be, but it was really good. And then I'll say for my last one here, let me see here on my list.
I know you're a big Accountant 2 fan. You want to throw that on there?
I was Accountant 2, but I was gonna leave you to that one. Let you have that one. I would say Flight Risk.
Nice.
Flight Risk. I say Flight Risk was pretty good. I know we went to go see that together, so I think that one was another one that I really enjoyed. But what about you?
I have a lot of crossover, man. Obviously, Sinners, like you said, unanimous. I think it's the heavyweight. Hopefully, people continue talking about this film. I think it's at that stage of where its ambitious nature in terms of how well it was made from Ryan Coogler and obviously Michael B. Jordan and the supporting cast has now caught up to the financial. So the financial status has caught up to its legacy. In a sense, it's not just a movie where it's like, oh, it's a really good movie but didn't make a lot of money, or a movie that's not that good and it made a lot of money. It's actually both. Where it's a great piece of cinema, masterpiece, by the way, and then also I think that it's financially successful. So I'm excited to see what else that entails for the rest of the movie business when it comes to original films. But so Sinners for sure. I would say The Companion, man. I thought that was a pretty good one, a sleeper. Companion. I thought it was good.
Beep Boop, you're not gonna screw everything up. Just relax. Don't be all mopey and weird. Just remember to smile and act happy. Okay?
That was obviously like Jack Quaid's like renaissance. Now we see him in Heads of State. We saw him in Novocaine. So he's having a pretty good year right now when it comes to movies. I think Mickey 17, man, like, again, it didn't perform that well at the box office, but it was a swing. Obviously, it was a little weird, and you always talk about sometimes these movies being too weird. But I just
it was original.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we like.
That's what we like, and it was creative.
So.
And I think it kind of started this whole duplicity thing that we're seeing now. Obviously, Sinners has that, and other movies where it's like you see multiple versions of the same person in a film. They didn't start it, but I'm saying this year it kind of
they didn't start it by any means.
For sure.
Parent Trap back in the day,
right?
Man, that really got me.
Right. Like you said, I think Final Destination was pretty good, man. Like, it was up there. Like you said, I went into it not understanding why they wanted to do it. We didn't think we needed it, but boy, did they prove me wrong. And I had a great time at the theaters. I think that's the biggest thing for me is going to these movies. I've been having fun, man. Been having a lot of fun. I think I have to throw F1 on there. I know that's maybe a little cheat code. We just saw it.
I was about to say, I didn't want to put it on there because we were about to talk about it, but hey, man, I guess
But man, that what did I say to you when I was beside y'all? But this is cinema.
This is cinema.
This is what makes the hair on my arms raise up.
Absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. This is what makes the hair on my arms stand up. You know what I'm saying? I was sweating in there. I was, you know what I'm saying?
I was leaning forward like I was in the whip.
What?
I mean,
pins and needles. I just felt good, man. I felt overwhelmed. Like it really was like, man, this is what I come to the movie theaters for, right? So I just really appreciate that. So I would probably say those kind of movies were the ones. Are there any movies that you're excited for coming up? I mentioned it being the month of July, and we know what we're about to get into for the next couple of weeks. But what are some films that you're excited for coming up for the rest of the year?
Well, obviously Superman's coming out. Excited for how James Gunn portrayal. I tried to stay as far away from previews as possible. That's what we need to start showing them later to the movies, because every time we're there now early, I'm like seeing previews, I'm getting cheesed. So Superman, I think also Fantastic Four, of course. That one was also ruined by trailers. I heard some information I didn't want to know. I was cheesed. Another one is the remake of I Know She Did It Last Summer.
Yes.
I'm excited for that one. More so because, they're bringing back a couple people as well. But I also loved I Know What You Did Last Summer as well. Let me see if there's any other on my list that I can even think of right now. If Avatar is still coming out this year, I'm excited for it. I'm not entirely sure. I think that people always change timelines, so hopefully it stays. But if it doesn't, then I'm definitely going to be excited for Avatar. And I think I'm excited also for One Battle After Another.
Yeah, I'm about to mention that for sure.
By PTA. So I'm pretty excited for those ones. Those are kind of sooner ones, but I'm still excited about. What about you?
Definitely highest to lowest with Denzel, ASAP Rocky. Denzel and Spike Lee linking up again. I think that I'm super, super excited for One Battle After Another. You know me, DiCaprio fan.
Yeah.
But I think Caught Stealing is going to surprise people with Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz. I'm excited to see that film as well.
Running Man, I forgot to say that.
Running Man, Glenn Powell looks really, really good.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a fan of the original with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I think that Glenn Powell is going to do an immaculate job in that role. It looks like it's going to be fun again. So you already mentioned the Supermans, the Fantastic Fours. They have a lot of weight to carry when it comes to seeing if they could carry the superhero movie drought and end it right now. So we'll see what happens with that. But man, like you mentioned, we're talking about race movies because that is the title, man. The one before the finish line, the one at the finish line. I want to ask you, what elements make a race car movie good? Because we did our due diligence, watched a few race car films. What did you notice that you were attracted to when it came to these films?
I think the redemption story, like any sports movies, redemption stories are pretty good. But I think redemption when it specifically comes to racing, it's pretty cool because it usually starts with a crash or an accident and somebody has to come back and rehab and then they're back to what they're being, or if it's somebody that they know or something like that. Like we can talk about so many different movies where that happens and then they have to make a comeback. So I think that's one of the key components to a good racing movie. A rivalry is another one. Sure. Another one that's like pretty intense, and you kind of need that as well. In movies, you need somebody that you're going up against, or some big bad that is like a piece of shit or something like that. But I think those are two key ones. Other than that, man, I think you need to show racing. Like, the key components of a race movie. That's why we have certain stipulations of what's considered a race movie, because you have to have a lot of racing. You have to have some more racing than you have anything else. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of these movies had a lot of dialogue and a lot of stuff like that, but I needed more racing in some senses. So, that's what I'll pretty much say.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that and say you want to have good sound design, right? I think that's one of the common threads that I noticed with these films. When you talk about Days of Thunder, it's like the revving of the engines. When you talk about F1, it's like just the overall soundtrack. And we know Hans Zimmer, the GOAT, is responsible for a lot of these films and just the success of how they sound. But I think that technical aspect is really, really needed when it comes to having a good racing film. And then outside of that, I would say the visuals, right? Because you talked about the great stuff, which is like the meats and the potatoes. I would say like outside of the main ingredients, you would also want to have like good visuals. So you talked about having just race sequences, but they have to look good as well. And I noticed distinctive differences between the visual styles, like between a Rush movie, between an F1, even between the Days of Thunder. Like they're all done differently. And we'll get into it a little bit later, but I think that those are some good elements that make a good race film, like you said. Rivalry, competition, for sure. Because at the end of the day, like, it's racing, and people might not understand this, and we got educated too when it came to the F1 film, but like, this is real life sports. Like,
real life stuff.
It's physical, it's mental, it's a lot.
Quick twitch, like, it's like everything that you possibly need when it comes to being an athlete. So I wouldn't say that they're not athletes personally. I know some people may, but not me
at all. We respect what you do, man.
Yeah,
for sure. Hey, before we get into Act 1, I wanted to ask you about your experience, because I know you got to, did you get to visit an F1 event? Like, what was it?
Nah, Tay was for my birthday last year. I was able to go and actually drive a NASCAR at a NASCAR track in North Carolina, the NASCAR track in North Carolina.
What?
And it was pretty cool.
How was the track? Because you know how people walk up a slant? Was it like that? Like you're walking up?
Nah, so you kind of you drive into the infield is what they call it. And that's like, bro, like the infield is like, you think that a racetrack is like kind of small, like if you look at it from TV. Yeah. But if you actually go to a racetrack, like it's like a damn near like a whole city in the middle of like the racetrack. It's crazy. Like you can drive from one end to the other and like it's still a far drive. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. So we got into the infield and you drive into the infield and then you pretty much just They make you watch like a 10-minute video of how not to kill yourself. They don't say anything to you, bro. It's crazy. They don't say anything to you, and pretty much the main warning was if you touch the inner part of the track, like there's like the railing, I guess, the white line that goes around the track. If you touch the inner part of the track, they said your car will flip and you will be injured. And I said, what? And they're like, yeah, well, you can go now. And I said, so there's no instructions, nobody's gonna, they're like, no, just go out there, drive, man, have fun. And I said, okay. So I was nervous the entire time, but it was a cool experience, man. Like they even thought like I was actually standing there waiting in line for a long time because they didn't think I could fit into the car. So they were trying to get me like a bigger car. But I was just like, no, like I'm a big guy, but like I'm agile, like I can move and like I play sports, so I can like. So they're like, oh shoot, like you can actually fit in the car. I couldn't really fit in the car still. My knees were against the dashboard, and everything like that. I was crunched up like this. But it was a lot of fun though. I'm not gonna lie. It was terrifying. I thought I was going so much faster than I was. Yeah. And if you watch the video, I'm going so slow because Tate took a video and I'm going so slow. But I thought I was going so fast, bro. Like it was. And then on top of that, if you don't know how to drive stick, then you have to like put the car all the way up into 5th gear, and then just like they have to like push you off, like essentially to drive. Oh, you have to put it in neutral, and then as soon as they roll, you put it in 5th gear, and then they say just press your foot on the gas as possible. And there's no like real side view mirrors, so like you can't turn your neck. So like when I was driving, like essentially from the infield onto the track, I was like, yo, I'm looking, because I'm like, but I can't move my neck. I'm trying to look to see if there's any cars coming. And like the only person you can trust is like, and that's where I got even more respect, is that the only person you can trust is your pit crew, right? Because like when you put on the helmet, you have a thing they're telling you what to do. Like essentially the instructor's telling you like how fast to drive, what you're supposed to be doing, what you're trying to do on this lap, da da da. And I'm like, fam, like all I have to do is trust you. He's like, no, you can go. And I'm like, nigga, I can't see that, so I don't trust you. And he's like, no, like you gotta go now. And like it was coming to the point of like, so like when you're exiting, you know how you get on the highway, like one lane's ending. It's like it was that, and there was a car coming. So like he's like, yo, you gotta make a decision. Is you gonna crash into this, or are you gonna get onto the track? Because he's like, yo, the other guys are professionals, so they'll know how to like maneuver. So like I was like, and I just like turned, and then everything was blessed. But it was just terrifying. So I'm not gonna lie, it was very terrifying. But it was fun though. It was also fun.
It sounds thrilling, man, and I wonder how being a participant in that aspect kind of
It changed my mind
plays your
forever. It changed
mindset
my
when
mind
you're watching
forever.
these films for sure.
I wanted to be a racer after that for sure. But it changed my mind forever in the sense of like, yo, like this takes like a lot of like flexibility. It takes a lot of like mental work. It takes a lot of like trust. You know what I mean? It's like you're kind of like blind in a sense. You can see obviously, but you're kind of blind in the sense of like, yo, your person in your mic is telling you everything, so you have to trust them like wholeheartedly with your life.
Yeah,
that like everything's gonna be all right. Because if you don't, then like, and you're questioning anything, then you can actually die from doing that. So
jeez.
I just like, I don't know. I just thought I saw that in a different light. Obviously, it's not F1. It's just you're going around in a circle. But bro, that circle ain't no joke. I'll tell you that much. It's not. I thought it was a joke. I was like, oh, I think I can drive around a circle. Yeah, it's not no joke still.
Yeah, not a joke for sure. But man, we will be getting into this episode talking about the best racing films of all time. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Scene DMs after this. What's going on? It's Act 1, Issue 63. Oh, man, it's going to be a great episode talking about these racing films. First and foremost, are you a car person? And if you are, what was your dream whip growing up? Or like your dream vehicle if you were, because as a kid, I always used to be like, man, I want a Bugatti. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Lil Wayne always stunting in his raps talking about Bugatti. So I did my research, and being in middle school, I was always like, yo, if I have enough money, I'm going to get a Bugatti, bro. $1 million for a car, that sounds insane. And it's super fast and all that. What was your dream car?
I feel like I didn't really have one. I wouldn't say I'm like a car person in that sense. I would say that I do enjoy seeing nice cars, but I wouldn't say like I know their names, I know anything like that. Like I know that I definitely wanted to get a Jaguar, an electric Jaguar. I remember I seen a video back in the day that they made, I think only 800 maybe, or 8,000, or even less than that, like 80 of the Jaguar cars, that when you rev the engine it actually makes the Jaguar like roar, like it makes the noise. Like they got the actual Jaguar roar and they put it into the car so that when you press it, it like makes that roar. And I was like, damn, I want one of those. That sounds fire. Like imagine you're driving, you know what I mean? Like that's lit. So I would say like a Jaguar. But when I was growing up, obviously everybody wanted a Ferrari, Lambo, Porsche kind of thing. But as I got older, I think like a Jaguar would be blessed. So
I remember growing up. Remember the Cadillac? Oh man, what were they?
Escalade?
Nah, not the Escalades. They were kind of like the boxy cars, and they used to look like the Bentleys, CTCs or CTS or something like that. But the Cadillacs, I remember how cool those were. But let's talk about these race films. I think I want to mention one of the goated ones. People might not take me serious, but I'm being dead ass when I mention this film. It's one of the goated films, not only for racing, but just in my comedy arsenal when it comes to the filmography of films that I love and could play back in my head over and over again. It's Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Came out in 2006, written by Adam McKay and Will Ferrell, and directed by Adam McKay. Budgeted at $72 million and made $164 million. It's a sports comedy film. It stars Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, Amy Adams, Leslie Bibb, Gary Cole, and rest in peace, but Michael Clark Duncan. I think it's in the movie. Man, it's a parody portrayal of NASCAR culture. Yeah. So it's a comedy gem. It's a type
I wake
of film.
up when I piss excellent, Jim.
I'm about to say,
I wake up when I piss excellent.
It's hilarious you said that. What are you doing with your hand? I don't do my hands. I don't do my. It's one of those films that you could just throw out any quote. I'm happy my brother just did that, because you could throw out any quote and people will either finish it or they'll at least know where you got it from. And even though
you're not first, you last, brother. If you're not first, you last.
And even though I think it's like an excessively big comedy, it's over the top with its style, I think it still addresses some serious subject matter like family, friendship, betrayal, overcoming adversity, and learning your true self, right? And I think Will Ferrell's Ricky Bobby is one of those goated characters from him. I don't think it's like Anchorman or Step Brothers level status, but it's damn near close. And I think it's one of my favorite performances from him, because outside of the other guys, the L, Semi-Pro, and those type of films I just mentioned, I think he really is in his bag with this one. And I think that it's like that, I don't know, it's that when at all a cost approach. It looks good. The prayer was funny.
It was hilarious.
I don't know, man. What do you gotta say about that film?
Man, I thought the Talladega was one of the funniest movies ever.
Said baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus. And it's just hilarious how they are.
I see baby Jesus. Your Jesus could be whatever you want to be. That's hilarious.
These kids are my grandchildren, and you are raising them wrong. They are terrible boys.
Shut up, Chip, or I'll go ape crazy on your ass. I'm gonna scissor kick you in the back of the head.
Yeah, turn up the heat.
Go on and get some, boys.
Come on.
I'm 10 years old, but I'll beat your ass. Chip, I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
Chip, you brought this on, man.
What is wrong with you?
Chip?
And how the kids were and how intense they were as well. And I just thought the movie was hilarious. There were so many quotables, but like you said, like it mixed in like a good portion of serious talk, like, you know what I mean, when he got into that crash and he was unable to get back, and then he thought he was like paralyzed.
I'm on fire. I can't feel my legs.
He's like, I can't feel my legs. And Michael was just like, fam, you're trying to cheese me still.
If I can feel my legs, can I do this? This guy's crazy.
Yo, the movie was hilarious. I thought it was like you said, it was a great iteration of NASCAR culture. I'm not sure how NASCAR felt about it, yeah, but I thought it was really well done. I thought Sacha Cohen or whatever his name is, is just like he's just an idiot. So he's just a goofball, but he also made it hilarious as well. Him and Will Ferrell are obviously hilarious. John C. Reilly obviously is another one of them. So
shake and bake, baby.
Shake and bake, baby. So I don't know. I just really love the film. Classic film right there.
Yeah. What do you got?
So for me, one of my favorites is Rush, man, with Chris Hemsworth. And what's his man's name again?
Daniel Bruhl, right?
Daniel Bruhl?
Yeah.
Let me confirm this. But yeah, that movie obviously is a retelling of a true story of two F1 racers back in, I think it was in the 80s. 70s.
Yep.
And it was a story about a rivalry about one guy who was a reckless womanizer kind of guy that just, like, you know what I mean? He did it for fun, did it for fame, but did it for fun. And then there was another guy named Lauda. Let me just get their names. Niki Lauda. And he kind of bought his way into F1,
sure, yeah.
and then said like what is wrong with it, and like just got his own team through that.
Yes.
And it just talks about their rivalry and them going back and forth between each other in that rivalry, and then something happening to Niki Lauda,
yeah,
and causing it to become a big thing. And it's like a true story, so it's such a telling story. But the two racers are Niki Lauda and James Hunt.
Yeah.
And the story is just amazing in that sense, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that Niki Lauda, who like Dwayne said, was played by Daniel Bruhl. He played it so well. He played it like such an arrogant like person that like was confident in his ability, but also came off a little arrogant. And and Chris Hemsworth obviously plays James Hunt way too well, because it seems like that's how the man is. But
that's how it was for sure. I seen pictures and videos. He was a playboy for sure.
Exactly.
They had pictures of him with things before the race. I said, oh, he's Magic Johnson of the sport.
Yeah, he's the Magic Johnson of the sport for sure. He didn't care. He was winning, but he was also just like, yo, like I didn't really care. He's just like that reckless,
bro. One of his patches said like sex, driving, and God or something like that. I said, all right, this guy.
Yeah, so like a great movie though. Great movie. What'd you think about it?
I thought it was a dope character study between two separate approaches of achieving greatness. Mm-hmm. Like you mentioned, they both reach it, but they have opposing methods. But they learn to respect and admire each other. So it's like that rivalry story. But I like my rival. Mm-hmm. You know, AI and Kobe, LeBron and whoever. You know what I'm saying? Guys that have their respective rivals. By the end of the day, when they're done, they're retired. They're like, okay, you know what? Actually, that's my friend, bro, because only he understands what it's like to be a dog. Like
yeah, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird,
you know I mean? Exactly. So I really appreciate that about the film. I think the film shows the danger of Formula One racing because all the crash sequences were pretty sick to watch and to see and to witness, but it shows how the mutual respect can develop between two competitors based on their complex processes. I like that it shows the cost of pursuit of being great. Mm-hmm. And when you're chasing your dreams and you're that ambitious, things are going to happen. And it gives a behind-the-scenes look at the struggles between the mental psyche of a person, mm-hmm. but also who's obsessed with winning and will do anything to reach and stay at the top. So,
what are you talking about?
Talking about the race in Spain that I won.
Yeah, in a car, which is not legal.
5/8 of an inch too wide. You know that doesn't have the slightest effect on speed. But you complained and your team have always leaned on the authorities. Now we've had to rebuild the car and it's become a monster.
At least it's a legal monster.
So you've had to resort to cheating.
You're driving an illegal car and call me the cheat? It's pathetic. Rules are rules.
Yes. And rats are rats. Thank you. Thank you.
The one thing I'll say about the visual style is the racing wasn't, to me, like, again, after seeing F1 and going back and seeing these movies, I think that, like, from the racing sequences, some of them were cool, but for the most part, like, all the cuts and the way they were, like, I prefer the style of F1 where it's like elongated camera shots.
Yeah, you're in it.
That one, it kind of takes
Show the
me
race.
out of it.
Yeah, it's like more of a
the
montage.
race.
It was more of a montage. Yeah.
But like I said, the car crashes were cool, and that crazy thing you talked about that were happening was when Niki Lauda was like, "Yo, we shouldn't race because it's wet outside."
No. Everybody else is saying that. Nikki said like, "Yo, we can race because I'm gonna beat you guys anyway."
No. He was saying he didn't want to because, and they're saying, and James was like, "Nah, you're a snake. You're saying that because if you do that, we won't get it."
That's what it was. Yeah. That's
and then Niki Lauda was like, "Nah, I'm just trying to protect you." And he was the one that got into the accident.
Yeah.
Ended up almost burning.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was like kind of real. Because again, James Hunt died at a young age, and then hearing Nikki talk about at the end of the film, saying like, you know, the guy lived his life to the last every day, like it was his last, was kind of.
And
cool,
then he just he quit too, like he played a commentator and then died young.
Exactly. So great film. The next one that I would say, and man, I think that this is one of the better racing films that are out there. But Ford vs Ferrari, I think is an immaculate film. Came out in 2019, directed by James Mangold, and he just did the Complete Unknown with Timothée Chalamet. It was budgeted at $97 million and it made $226 million. But of course that's going to happen when you have an ensemble stellar cast filled with Matt Damon, Christian Bale on the bill as leading it, John Bernthal, who's been a recent favorite in a lot of our films, and Tracy Letts. The film was so good, Merv, that in the 92nd Academy Awards, the film was received 4 nominations, including Best Picture, and it won Best Film Editing, Best Sound Editing. And then Christian Bale himself also received nominations for the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Drama, and a Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by any male actor in a leading role. So it has like the accolades to back up the visuals, but also just a great story. And it's simply about, in the mid-1960s, Enzo Ferrari's fast Rosso Corsa racing cars were dominating the motorsport world. And meanwhile, you had Carroll Shelby, who was the American car designer, and he was retired after a demanding kind of Le Mans race, which is why I like this movie too, because it explained how like grueling the Le Mans event was, which is like a 24-hour race. Like, how do you race for 24 hours? Right? That's wild. And it was like they put Ford into an unexpected position to the point where Henry Ford, the president of the company, had to
Henry Ford II, which I want to make sure they say.
had to basically present an opportunity to beat the Italians at their own game because he was trying to join with them and they kind of played in his face.
Yeah, essentially what happened was that they wanted to buy Ferrari because they were damn near broke.
Damn near about to be broke.
They're bankrupt.
Yeah.
And when Ford went to them, they were negotiating the contract, looking at the contract, blah 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 blah, and they had somebody take pictures and send it over to somebody else to like make it be like a whole negotiating thing, so they can actually get more money. And then pretty much played in Ford's face because they were never gonna let actually let Ford buy Ferrari ever. So
yeah, and then going from there, they enlisted getting Ken Miles. Shelby listed on getting Ken Miles, his boy, the British sports car driver and a racing engineer. And he kind of reluctantly agreed to help him, but he helped him and accommodated him in improving the Americans' image. And the Ford's race team had less than 90 days to kind of rewrite history. And as a result, they came up with the Ford GT40 MK. And it's a powerful, high-performance racing car. And Shelby and Miles kind of teamed up, and they actually helped in the process and won a couple races. But like you said, I know you said the ending was kind of sad, but it's based on a true story. Another common thread I've noticed with all these racing films is the majority of these are built off real events that actually happen in real life. So I think it's a cinematic testament to how it could be a great mixture of both storytelling that's interesting but also outstanding performances, because Matt Damon and Christian Bale carry, like you mentioned in the text message to me the other day, they really embodied those characters from the appearance. Like when I watch these based on true story films, Merv, I always look at the after, like, yo, how do they look? in comparison to the actual people that they're basing it off of, and the characters, the appearance
Christian Bale
was
look exactly
spot on. To the
He
point,
lost weight,
lost
too much
70
weight.
pounds.
I'm like, bro, like,
I'm like, bro, you are
could have just
wildin'.
been your same size in this movie, so.
I'm like, why is he acting like that? And then I go look at the picture. I'm like, bro, that's how the guy talked. That's how he looked. I'm like, Christian Bale really dedicated himself to that performance.
Bro. He's a method man.
There wasn't that many racing sequences in this film, which is what we just saw a recent report of. Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise were in talks to play these two characters when this film came out back in the day or a couple of years ago. However, Tom Cruise himself was like, fam,
there's not enough racing.
Not enough adrenaline for me. I want to risk my life when I do movies.
I almost died.
I need more stuff. You want me doing all this dialogue and not racing? Nah, please. I'm not doing it. Maybe Brad will do it. I'm not doing it. So Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise bowed out. And that's why we have Matt Damon and Christian Bale. But everything happens for a reason, man. Like I said, not a lot of race sequences, but the ones that were good were really good and thrilling. And I think, like I said, depicts the Le Mans, which is an incredible experience. The nighttime racing scenes in this film were beautiful. I think they were beautiful. It was intense. It was tantalizing. The production design, the drama, the sound mixing, all that was really good. And like you said, according to Matt Damon, little fun fact, Christian Bale had to lose 70 pounds before filming this because Bale had previously gained a lot of weight for his role in Vice that came out in 2018 where he played the vice president and he was heavyset. And he had about 7 months to lose it and be a lean race car driver. And Damon asked Bale how he managed to lose all the weight. And Bale replied by saying he simply didn't eat. And Damon was like, all right, I guess I'm impressed by that. You're like a monk, but that's what's up. So seeing the dedication that Bill goes, we're gonna have an episode in the future about actors putting their bodies through
method acting,
through gaining weight, losing weight, all that stuff. But the damage that he puts his body through to get the performance off, I think, is a testament to how great of an actor Bill is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just push the car hard the whole way, right?
That's right. You have to be kind to the car. You feel the poor thing groaning underneath you. If you're going to push a piece of machinery to the limit and expect it to hold together, you have to have some sense of where that limit is.
I love him. As we know, we've seen him go from bigger to smaller to bigger to smaller to athletic to smaller to, you know what I mean? We've seen all of it. You know what I mean? In Dallas Buyers Club to Batman. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think he's a madman when it comes to that stuff. But obviously love the film. Great film. We talked about it. Ford v Ferrari. Matt Damon and Christian Bale put on a masterclass of acting in this one. Love the film, like you said, but I just didn't like the ending. But it's a true story, so I can't. What can I say? I didn't like the ending of a man's real life, respectfully. So
no break
even how they snaked the man at the end. So like that would I wanted some like retribution.
Robbed him.
I wanted him to have something that like you know what I mean. He kept them back, but he never did. You know what I mean?
It was so
it's just
emotional, man. He told Matt Damon, he said, "You didn't promise me a win, bro. You promised me I'd drive."
Yeah.
Like, damn. Like you said, I was like, man, I want him to
because he made the decision to do it. Still, he could have just went by himself and did it like everybody thought he was gonna do, and then he became a team player and stuff. So I don't know. I just didn't like that. But
would you do that? No, you're finishing first place, breaking all the records, eh?
Especially because I don't like those guys. Of course, like who cares? Like okay, I won Le Mans, and now what are you gonna say? Nothing. You can't say nothing to me.
Thanks.
But anyways, man, the next one I would have to say, man, is there's two classes I would like to say. I'm not sure which one to say. But I think I'm gonna go with Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo, who is also based on a true story, man. It's actually a crazy true story.
Like this is a type of movie where it's like, yo,
it doesn't make
if this
sense.
happens to somebody, you're like, yo, they should make a movie about this.
Yeah, and it did.
And it actually did.
It did. It's pretty much about this this young man. I want to get his name right. Jan Manderborough. And he is like addicted to racing simulation, Gran Turismo, the game to be specific, and essentially he's just like, yeah, like he doesn't know what he wants to do with it, but he wants to go to school to maybe like build cars and stuff like that because he loves racing so much. But his family just doesn't agree. His dad doesn't agree. They're just like, yo, fam, like you need to get a real job. Like you know,
like video games is not a real job.
Video games is not it. So anyways, he ends up getting opportunity because Nissan actually puts on a competition with Orlando Bloom. He decides that they should have a way to make Nissan look better is by getting into racing, and what they should do is do it by having somebody win a competition, like through the video game to actually be a part of the team. And obviously Nissan's just like, this is dumb as hell, but like, sure, I guess. So they try it out. They get Jan. They get a bunch of young kids to play in this virtual game.
Facts.
And then whoever wins it actually gets invited to actually go in real life and go through this entire process where they have to learn like years of experience, like which a lot of these guys have learned, professionals have learned, within like, I don't know, months to a year or something like that. I forget how much. And they have to like get in shape. And then you see these guys, man, they're doing cardio. They're doing lifts. They're doing quick twitch stuff. They're doing all this stuff. And like some of them are throwing up and not being able to deal with it. The G forces of everything. They're trying to deal with all that stuff. So they first just make them get in the car, try to figure it out. They're crashing the cars. They're doing all types of stuff. So they're just like, bro, this is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
But then it ends up being where Jan actually wins the competition, man, and beats everybody. And he's like tall, so like everybody's like, yo, he's lanky. Like, why is he the one? Whatever. But he's able to make it to the car, and essentially Nissan is just like not sure if they want to sponsor him because he has to either be top 10 to get his driving license before he's even considered a driver. And then he's able to finally then race, and he gets sponsored by the team and have a whole thing, and he ends up doing it. I think it's in the last race. Like I think he's able to place in where he's supposed to place. And once he's placed, then they're like, okay, like this is cool, this has been fun, but like, fam, are you gonna do anything with it? So like they're not expecting much from him. But then he crashes. And then everybody's like, comes to and says like, yo, fam, he shouldn't be racing. Like this shouldn't be a thing they're doing. Like,
facts.
This is dumb. Like you to even think to do this, and Nissan is getting in hot water over it. They're thinking that they should shut the entire thing down. But then he ends up coming back after a hiatus and is able to, I think it was in Le Mans, the 24 hours in Le Mans, I think is the race where he's able to get top 3 in the race, and that's how the movie finishes. And it's based on a true story, and it's crazy that it's actually a true story. But every time I look at the game Gran Turismo that comes up on the PSN store, I'm like, yo, that's crazy that this is actually true. This is something that actually happened. You know what I mean? Like, what if I go in this game right now and I can do the same thing? You know what I mean? but great movie though.
It's crazy how it kind of foreshadows just like streaming culture that we have, and how even people like in a jobs. Smaller example is we play on the team with TJ Jazz. Yeah. And it's kind of like the same thing where obviously he could hoop in real life, but just him being like a streamer and then actually working his way to be a professional. Yeah. It's kind of that same trajectory. Yeah. And that
through
path,
his videos
through
online,
the videos
they've
online,
seen that he was good enough to be here, and then
that's how he gets an opportunity. And people doubting him, he shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. Same kind of underdog story, and that's what I liked about Gran Turismo. It's an underdog sports story that is unconventional, but it's really based off of a true story. It seems so fake, but nah, this is actually what happened in real life. And the racing sequences were really immersive, very tough. I love the drone shots. I thought they were very memorable, and it was impressive because the visuals were backed by some amazing sound as well.
And it was a PlayStation movie, so because of the PlayStation movie, they were able to kind of integrate that game thing. Like when he even got in the car, he was playing the game, and they were able to like put the 3D thing around him and like make it be like he's in the game. I was like, that's super cool because you can actually use the technology from the game to be in the movie.
Exactly.
Does Yen give us the best shot?
I don't know what that means. He won.
By 1,000th of a second.
Yeah, that's the difference between winning and losing. Jan won.
Jan, look, he stumbles in front of the camera. He's not press ready. He's not confident. The whole idea of this thing, Jack, it hangs on one of these 2 kids' shoulders. Maddie's 1,000,000th of a second behind. I mean, who cares? He is ultimately our best pick when you take him out into the world.
Who won?
Right. Yeah, copy that. The winner is... You are the winner.
And that crossbreed right there really made it to be really aesthetically pleasing. I think the separate thing I like about it too is that the depth that they had with David Harbour's character. Shout out to him in Thunderbolts this year, but also David Harbour's character and returning for Stranger Things. You know, Micah's ready for that. But David Harbour's character as the mentor, Jack Salter, I kind of appreciate the bond that he had. It was emotional seeing him and Jan go through the different moments of triumph, disappointment, and everything in between. It's about more than just racing. I think that's why I enjoyed this film and was entertained by it, because it focuses on the part of overcoming adversity. Something a lot of people could relate to. Yeah, being doubted,
and I think that's like I said, the main recipe to racing movies in general. So that's why I was just like, you know what I mean? It made a great one.
Yes, sir. Let's take a quick time out. We will be back with more Scene DMs after this. Act 2 coming up. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, what's going on? Scene DMs, issue 63, the one at the finish line.
Yep. At the finish line,
At
brother.
the finish line, brother. Listen, we're talking about the best race movies of all time. Before we continue reviewing some of the classics or the favorites that we enjoy, what is the goated animated racing film?
Cars, obviously.
Without a doubt.
Well, yeah, Lightning McQueen is the GOAT of all racers of all time. Honestly, it's not even like a question. He's the GOAT. So, yes. Yes, Cars.
I have to agree. If I was going to choose something else, I would say Turbo. But there hasn't really been...
Turbo, please.
Cars is definitely the goated classic.
There's nothing on Lightning McQueen, brother. I'm sorry, brother.
For
I
sure.
love you, Turbo, but nah, brother.
Nothing. So
even Wreck-It Ralph could get a look over. You know, Wreck-It Ralph, they have that racing, racing scenes. And
Yeah.
the glitch, so she can glitch and everything like that. Nah, even then, nah. Still.
Even then, nah. Breeze.
Cars has it.
Cars has it, yeah. Well, if you had to rank the Cars franchise, what would you think?
Like the trilogy?
Movies, yeah, the trilogy.
I'll go 1, 3, 2. 2 doesn't even make sense. It shouldn't have counted as a movie. It's dumb. They try to make it into like a Mission Impossible like Cars movie, and I was like, this is so stupid. Just no, it's actually a James Bond Cars movie. That's what they try to do. And I was just like, yo, just keep it Cars, bro. Keep it racing. It's kind of Fast and Furious. They went Fast and Furious, but they realized the crowd, the people didn't like it, so they went back.
Yeah, they had to go back to what works. All right. Listen, man, I know, again, I'm going to start off with another film that people are probably going to be like, is this guy serious? Like, nah, I'm dead serious. Too Fast, Too Furious, 2003, directed by John Singleton. Budgeted at $76 million, and it made $237 million, so it was a financial juggernaut. Obviously, rest in peace, Paul Walker. He was in the film. We had Vin Diesel, Eva Mendes, Ludacris, Tyrese Gibson, Suki. I can go on and on and on.
Bro, there's literally trillions of people in that
A whole bunch of cameos. I know Ja Rule was kicking himself in the foot because they actually wrote the part for him and he turned it down like a idiot. And
now Ludacris is in his like 20th movie with that
one passive money. He just has to say a 1-2 line, do a couple action scenes, and he's out of there. But it's essentially about the ex-LAPD cop Brian O'Connor, who teams up with his ex-con friend Roman Pierce, and they work undercover with the U.S. Customs Service agent Monica Fuentes. So shout out to Eva Mendes for being in this film in the prime of her career, to bring down Miami drug lord Carter Verone, who's played by Cole Hauser, down. And it's more than a street race. It's not the traditional street. I mean, it's not the traditional racing movies that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
It's more of a street film, a street racing film that I like. Instead of like focusing on NASCAR or Formula One, it's high energy. It looks wild with all the neon lighting and how gritty the Miami backdrop is for the racing, and it's a change from the first one. And the first Fast and Furious was an LA background. And then I love the chases and the stunts, man. The chase scene, the ejecto button for the Spanish guys going over to the boat, unrealistic but super like Dukes of Hazzard, Dukes of Hazzard type of vibe. And then even the driving backwards to impress Eva Mendes on the highway. I always just think about my pops doing that, just driving backwards for no reason, extensively fast, and it's like, bro, just turn around, fam.
Whip around, turn around. So
3-point turn, bro. So reverse this far. The rat scene, put the bucket with the rat on the chest and eating it up, and he's going crazy. That was intense. You know, and this is another quotable movie for me where it's like, we hungry. Like, like I said, we hungry.
Don't worry about it, cuz. Don't worry about it, cuz.
But the chemistry between Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson's character was hilarious. The fighting, the jokes, like them first not seeing each other. When you don't see your bro for a long time and y'all used to have beef, they're just fighting.
Yeah.
Then they end up like kicking it after. It's just like so reminiscent of an actual brotherhood. And I like that this movie serves to me as a nostalgic reminder of the clothes, the slang, the soundtrack, and just the overall aesthetic. Like whenever I watch that film, it just brings me to that time in my childhood. I'm like, this is so cool to be in this time zone. It's a simple movie with a ridiculous plot, but I think it's heavily influenced by Breaking Point.
Yeah.
That spawned a whole franchise, so I'm impressed with it.
Nah, obviously the Fast and Furious franchise has gone away from racing a little bit, but when it came to racing and the storylines and everything, like nothing beats 1 and 2 and 3. And I think that number 2 is like up there as one of the best Fast and Furious in the franchise. So
Come to Miami and drive with me. If you do, they'll take off that anklet and they'll clear your entire record.
I did 3 years in jail. 3 years in jail off you, Brian. I know you better than you think.
Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't.
You guys finished?
This deal legit.
That's right. If you do this job for us.
Told you.
Shut up, punk.
Too fast.
I love that movie. I love the soundtrack. Obviously, Ludacris being in that joint's fire. Jara would have ruined it. So I think it was a great movie. I think that all of it was something to enjoy. And obviously, when you look at it, like probably back in the day, we were like, because you used to play like I don't know if you used to play Midnight Club.
Yeah, I did.
Midnight Club. And Midnight Club, and you'd hear all the Fast and Furious songs, all the Too Fast Too Furious songs on that one, and you're like, yo, this is fire. So it makes you feel like you're actually in a street race. So that's the kind of stuff I think about when I think about like Too Fast Too Furious. Is like I remember Midnight Club and all that stuff, and those are my favorite games to play, racing games. So to see how it is now, and to see how far Fast and Furious has gone away from that, and even racing movies, street racing movies in that sense, it's just like damn, like those times are nostalgic, and we miss those times.
We need to bring it back to the streets, gang.
Bring it back to the streets,
because I ain't gonna lie, I'm not trying to throw out no names. I don't want to, you know me. I'm not the warden. I'm not gonna get nobody in trouble. But I know in the GTA, past couple of years, I have been on the highway one time, and I said, "Oh, what's going on? Let me get out the way." And there was a race.
Oh yeah, they're racing on the
401. I said, "Oh,
I'm a snitch. I call 911 immediately. Hey, there's racing on the highway right now.
right now.
If I'm speeding and man's going faster than me,
I'm talking about like at least like 10 to 12 cars, and they're going crazy. And I said, "Oh, this street racing culture actually happens in the 6."
Yeah. Nah, I see it bare still, and I just get out of the way because I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to get into one of those wrecks with these guys because they're dumb. They're very dumb with how they do it. But I think that Fast and Furious, the smart thing that they would do, is remember they made all that money when they were in Brazil, and I don't know how much money they have now because I can't keep up with the story. But all that money would have been so cool if they just like did like they got somebody to be like a F1 driver, or like to be. I feel like that going that route would be like, yo, it'd be so unconventional, but it would be like lit because like, yo, you guys are actually like instead of it just robbing, or even like you're robbing an F1 event because of how much money they have,
style,
and then they're like somebody's also driving in it, and whatever the case may be, like that would be lit too. Like I feel like after seeing F1, I'm like, bro, like just incorporate more of that in movies still. But now another movie I would love to talk about. Obviously, we just mentioned it earlier, but Cars, man, Cars is up there as one of those movies where you didn't know what you had until years later, and you see Lightning McQueen being the GOAT out there. And with him, man, obviously we just talked about Cars, so I just give Cars a little love. With Lightning McQueen and Mater and all those guys in the movie with Cars, man, it gives you a feeling of racing and also a feeling of family that like we get with a movie like Days of Thunder and F1 and stuff like that, but just through animation. And I think that was the best part about those movies, is that you felt a sense of like a redemption and something to care about. He was an arrogant guy who he got a tie at the beginning of the movie, thought he was the best, and he didn't listen to his his crew, his pit crew, and his tires popped when he should have went in, didn't, and then he made it to the finish line, but there was a 3-way tie, so they had to do like a rematch. And instead of him being like, oh, that was me, he's just like, yo, like you guys need to do a better job. Until you have to learn a story of redemption, of going to a town, ruining their road, and then being like, yo, you got to fix it. And then them teaching how to drive and do all this stuff. And having that whole redemption story where it's like, it's not even like he tries to win in the end. He tries to like save somebody and make them have their last lap before he, you know what I mean? And it's like such a twist on a story of redemption that we don't usually hear, other than like, I guess Ford versus Ferrari, where it's kind of the same thing. But it was such a dope little twist, I feel like.
Nah, well, I think they did a great job. I always think like animation is a cheat code, but then when we talk to guys like Matt, shout out to Matt, our assistant coach, who has a brother that works in animation, they talk about, nah, that part right there, that was me. It took how long to animate this one little part of a film that you would take for granted.
Yeah.
Which is like a person maybe taking a step or
10-second clip. 10-second
something like that. So I always think that it's cool to see how animation could convey these messages like you're talking about, and also develop these type of characters.
Yeah.
Really quickly, I want to talk about Days of Thunder. Came out in 1990, directed by Tony Scott. We know him, prolific editor and director when it comes to fast cuts and
Fam, why do all 90s movies look this way? Why all 90s movies have that feel of like Top Gun? Top Gun, like
they all trying to copy Tony Scott.
I'm just like, damn, like it's like the music, obviously Hans Zimmer again on his back, in his back. But it's just like it just feels very Top Gun-esque, very like. Yeah, like you know what I mean, like
I
excited.
exactly
like, I don't know, but anyway, sorry, continue.
No, yeah, for sure. And its budget at $60 million, made $158 million. That's a lot, especially for back then in the '90s. And it's about Tom Cruise, man. I love that Tom Cruise delivers a charismatic performance as Cole Trickle, and you have Robert Duvall in it. He's excellent as like the grizzled crew chief member. Harry Hodge. You have the chemistry between Duvall and Cruise. That's a highlight, and it's like that mentor and mentee relationship that adds like the emotional depth to the film. And it's kind of one of those other films where we speak about it mimicking real life. So in my sense, it's like Tom Cruise is about to get the baton and reach that stardom, and Robert Duvall is kind of nearing that older age where he's passing it down to Tom Cruise. And so that kind of mentor relationship they have is not just for the racing of
it's more for the movie
Cole Trickle,
too,
but it's also for their relationship in real life. So I just love that aspect of it. But I spoke to you about it before, man. Tom Cruise, before he gets into his Mission Impossible bag, seeing him convey these different emotions, that doctor scene he has with Nicole Kidman, I think is special. But I love watching Days of Thunder because it served as like the foundation of where I see F1 took from, or where I see other racing films kind of took different scenes or sequences or ideas of competition and rivalry, and just the inner works of like having teamwork, but also rivalry in your own camp, which we learn more about F1 in detail. But what did you think about Days of Thunder? I also, like you said, Hans Zimmer score, goated, recognize it right away. And I think, again, the racing sequences weren't the best. I messaged you that right away where I was like, man, you could clearly see the stunt doubles and they're cutting away. And
the cuts were definitely there.
Were crazy, bro. You could tell, like I don't know. Again, I appreciate Brad Pitt so much in F1 and Damson Idris. I think it's making me look at these other films a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still think that the overall feeling that they were trying to get across with the Days of Thunder, I felt it.
Yeah.
Pause. And so I thought it was an overall good film, underdog, like you said, with race cars, and it was cool to see Tom Cruise be young before he transforms into the Tom Cruise we know now.
Because I don't know much about cars, okay?
Well, hey, Cole, that don't make you a damn bit different from any driver I ever met.
No, I mean, I really don't know. I don't know what you just said about the turn here and wedge there. I don't know. I don't know.
How could that be?
What's the difference? They told me to get in the car and drive, and I could drive. Point is, I'd like to help out, but I can't. I'm an idiot. I don't have the vocabulary.
Yeah, no, seeing a young Tom Cruise is like the wildest thing ever, because you see him now, I'm like, yo, I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, yo, this guy's 60 years old now, bro. Like, looking at this guy on the screen, I'm watching Days of Thunder, I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But nah, man, I thought him and Robert Duvall, man, had like like this is like Tom Cruise in his acting bag. You know what I mean? I feel like I think you mentioned me about it. We talked about it a little bit, where like Tom Cruise, before he became like this action movie star, was like a really good actor, and I still think he's a good actor. I just think that he doesn't have to try it anymore because of the action, as much. But even like Days of Thunder is such as an action movie, but like the emotion portrayed, even like some of the times I was like, yo, fam. Like when Robert Duvall like dashed him on the car one time, I said, "Yo, this looks kind of real." This looks like real beef going on right now. Like they were like fighting, and like I never knew like if like when they fought in the bus a couple times, and Robert Duvall like choked him out. I'm like, family, I said, yo, what? And then Tom Cruise looked like he was actually getting cheesed a little bit, and whatever the case may be. But like I feel like even the improvising, if they were, but it seemed like they were because it was so natural. It really felt like a real movie. Like it felt like Robert Duvall and Tom Cruise's relationship was real. But I love that about the movie. Not a lot of racing, definitely not a lot of racing. And if there was a lot of racing, it was a lot of montage racing. It wasn't like a lot of like full race. It was like, oh, he crashed, or like, oh, he messed up the wheel, or oh, man's like, don't come into the pit because you're not getting changed, you're not getting nothing changed. And every man, he came back to the pit, everybody's eating ice cream, and they're like, yo, fam, what's going on? So I feel like there was a lot of that until like then he won, and then when he won, it was just like very quick and then right after that, the crash and everything like that. So I felt like it wasn't a lot of racing.
Not at all.
And even like Nicole Kidman's like character too, I was like, damn, like she was acting her ass off in that one too, bro. Like I was like, yo, like she's over there. Even when she went in on Tom Cruise, I felt like that was like such a real moment. Like, you know what I mean? So
I mean, they have what, 3 movies together?
Yeah. And that was like the first one.
Yeah.
Right? So
then they had Far and Away, and then
Eyes Wide Shut. And I'm just like, yo, like no wonder they did 3 movies together. Their chemistry was amazing, and obviously they got married and had kids. So like I feel like that in itself is just like a telling tale of like how like hard she was acting in that movie.
Yeah.
Like I think that was great, and I don't know, I just liked it. I liked it a lot. I obviously being in a NASCAR myself, like being in a NASCAR, I more resonate with that. So I understood like all that stuff when it came to that. Obviously not to a degree of professionalism, but to some degree, you know what I mean? So that's why it was a lot of fun. I loved it.
Nah, really a lot of fun. I noticed the similarities too with F1, like I mentioned. You remember just Tom Cruise's appearance, like when he showed up, his entrance? Of like walking in all slow-mo with the music.
No, it was he came in on the motorcycle.
On the motorcycle, but I'm saying like all slow-mo, like with the music.
And like he was like wearing like professional clothes.
I'm
like,
and
Tom?
that's like how Brad Pitt kind of showed up. Like
I'm like, Tom?
What's the guy? So I love that. But like you mentioned, I think this is one of the films where it's like, yeah, this is Tiny Tom, bro. Cause when they came off the bus and the police were about to frisk him, I'm like, yo, this guy's shorter than Robert Duvall. Like,
fam, I'm not gonna lie. I was looking at the height thing the entire time.
I said,
yo, the man's pinched, bro. The man's pinched. Even Tay was just like, yo, he could like probably like they would probably have to help him in the car at all. He probably just slips into them. He's like very tiny.
Not fast, but what's next?
So I would say to keep the theme of what I was just talking about, I would say Cars 3 because of the switch. The Cars 3 story is such an interesting one. I am not proud to say that I just recently watched Cars 3, not like this year, maybe last year. Watched Cars 3 for the first time, Cars 2 and 3.
Wow.
Because I wasn't big on sequels when I was younger, of course, especially after like Aladdin 2 and all those, you know what I mean, those movies that need Tarzan and Jane, you know those ones? Of course. So I was just like, I didn't need to watch it, but I ended up watching it when I was in Atlanta, playing for the Skyhawks, and I was able to watch 2, and then I watched 3, and I was like, yo, fam, I missed out on such great films. Cars 3 is about Lightning McQueen's story, and you know what I mean, he's still getting better and everything like that, but then there's a new Lightning McQueen in town, you know what I mean? Lightning McQueen used to be the young guy who was taking over and killing the vets, and now he's the older statesman that is now having up to go against like this one guy that was just like, yo fam, the man's so fast, the man's driving past him, talking to him and driving past him. And it talks about the story of just Lightning McQueen coming back from a crash and having to be that guy, the vet that's like still trying to figure it out. They have new technology now. You can go to it's kind of like how they showed in F1. Like they have simulators for, it was actually cool how they did it. They have simulators for cars and tracks and everything like that, and Lightning McQueen obviously didn't know how to do that. He never done any of that stuff, so he was confused. They had him driving on sand. They had him doing a bunch of different things, and he was very confused with everything like that. But he was trying to get faster. He was trying to train harder to become faster, like that young kid. And he just was confused why he wasn't getting faster. Ended up getting into the last race with after doing all that work, and they had a pit crew girl. I forget her name. I want to get her name right. Who was like the young, it was honestly, Cars has a lot of similarity, I feel like, to F1 in a sense.
Yeah.
Because there's a young guy, obviously they're not on the same team, but there's a young guy who essentially is better, and then the pit crew girl is the one that ends up being the one that helps him save everything. So anyways, her name was Cruz Ramirez, and she was the one that ended up, after Lightning McQueen realized that he couldn't win, I didn't know he could do this. He subbed her in, and she was able to get the win for the team. Because she always wanted to race, but because she was a kind of car she was, and a woman car, I don't know if that was the reason, but I'm assuming that's why, that she could never race, and then ended up becoming a racer, and now she took up Lightning McQueen, and Lightning McQueen like quit, like dang near retired. So it was a nice little story, and it was a twist on like what we expected. I didn't expect that for that movie. What do you think about it though?
What was my speed?
I don't know. I can only track you on the treadmill.
No treadmills.
Oh, what about Hamilton?
Hamilton here.
Who's Hamilton?
My electronic personal assistant. You know, like on your phone. You do have a phone, don't you?
Race cars don't have phones, Cruz.
Hamilton, track Mr. McQueen's speed and report it.
Tracking.
I'll stay as close as I can. Your suit will transmit your speeds to Hamilton.
Fine, whatever. Let's do this.
Now, I thought it was good, too. Like you said, 2 was a creative swing and a miss. Strikeout. I think 3 brought it back, and I just love the elements, like you said, the new training montages, because it was reminiscent of how I feel a lot of athletics have been moving, where it's like old school 80s, 70s, 90s. It's more like just hard work, old school kind of get it out the mud training, and then as technology grows, you see people utilizing these new tools that is like any nuance that can help get any simple advantage over your competition.
Like a half a second, you know what I mean?
And then you try to imagine, like, you know, an old school player trying to put in this new environment, trying to use all this new equipment, and he's like, fam, this is not what I used to do to get ready to be at my top self. So just seeing that and the connection, how it is to the world now, like I said, all the advancements we have with SNC and with just skill development and all these, you know, enhancements that people are using instead of just the old school stuff. It was kind of telling for me to see in Cars 3, so I like that. But the animation was dope, top tier again, and it was a good lesson, a good story. So I definitely enjoyed that film. The last one I want to speak about is Ferrari. And Ferrari came out in 2023, directed by Michael Mann. It actually was a box office bomb. It was budgeted at $95 million, and it only made $43 million. So it lost money. It's a sports biography drama film set in the summer of 1957, and it's about the ex-race car driver Ferrari. So a lot of people didn't know that Ferrari used to be a race car driver before he, you know, built his business. But
Enzo, right?
Yeah. Enzo, and he's in a crisis. Bankruptcy basically is attacking his company and his wife Laura, and they're going through a tough time. They're having a tough time in their marriage and a lot of struggles, and they're mourning for one of their sons, and they're kind of like losing their communication between each other, and he decides to counter the way his life is going by gambling on himself and basically making this one car and being in this one race. And I love the film because it showcases Italy at a high level. And I love Italy. I've been there twice back in the day. I think Adam Driver's portrayal as Enzo Ferrari is definitely one of the highlights because he's able to convey the character's complex emotions and also his internal struggles. I love Penelope Cruz. She's one of my favorite actors as well. So seeing her in this film was dope because I love her from like Blow with Johnny Depp and all those films back in the day. But her performance as Laura Ferrari and was really good because it captured the performance of a wife who was at her wits and she was going through a lot of pain and she had to be resilient, hold down the family. And it really depicted, like I said, 1950s Italy, the cities, the countryside. It's visually captivating, and it's just the classics when it comes to the Ferraris, the Maseratis, and all those cars that were rendered in the beautiful film. So I thought it was cool. A lot of race sequences that were actually in the film, so that's why I included it in this. And kind of, I don't want it to be category fraud, but it is a racing movie because Enzo, it shows him racing, and it shows like his cars being raced and stuff. And then it also shows this like crazy crash. It ends up killing some of the people who were like watching on the side.
I know that crash. Yeah.
So seeing that and how it played out, I know a lot of people, I think that's why I lost money too, because some people thought it was like distasteful of Michael Mann, and it was like very gory. But I thought that was a different look. We see the crashes from the cars, but to see a crash happen where there's no barriers, the fans or the people who are watching actually are involved in the crash, I think was kind of scary, but like different to see. So I thought that was an interesting racing movie as well, and I learned so much about just Ferrari in general. Like you see these brand names, these banks, these companies, these businesses, these cars, these food companies, and it's like you don't even know like the history of like who that man was. You know, I always joke around about Tim Horton, you know, being from St. Mike's and him being a hockey player, and then how he invested in making his Tim Hortons bakery shop, and now what it is. So it's like cool to see these like historical kind of biography stories of like people's journey and how they created what they created. That's now a mass brand, and that's recognizable to everybody around the world.
Especially Ferrari. Ferrari's
top tier. But man, I think that's about it when it comes to these films. We're gonna review F1, which is gonna be great because we saw it in theaters. Act 3 is coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Scene DMs after this. What's going on? We are back. Scene DMs, issue 63, the one at the finish line. Merv and I, my brother, we are talking about racing films. And before we review F1, I had a couple questions for you. First of all, what is your Mount Rushmore of car films? So now, racing films. Now that we've spoken about them in depth, what is your Mount Rushmore of?
My Mount Rushmore would have to be already F1 is in there. Rush. I really like Rush. The next one I would have to say, for his comedic sense, Talladega Nights. Ford and Ferrari was good, man. Ford versus Ferrari, sorry, was good. But I think I'm gonna go with Cars.
Okay.
Cars is my last one.
I like that. I think for me, I'd probably go, like you said, F1. I'm going Days of Thunder. I'm going Talladega Nights. And for my last one, I'm definitely going to go Ford versus Ferrari.
Okay.
I think I preferred that over Rush. Rush is definitely a good movie, though. Like that list. Yo, I wanted to ask you as well, outside of that, is there a sleeper film that we haven't mentioned when it comes to racing films that could you think of? Because there's one that sticks in my mind. It's definitely a horrible movie, but growing up, I remember watching it on the TV over and over again.
Which one?
It's the Herbie. The
one
with Lindsay Lohan.
Man,
the Herbie. I know you guys know. If you're a 90s baby like me, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Herbie the Car's talking, fam.
I hated that.
Like, what are we talking about? Lindsay Lohan before she started crashing out as a child star. I mean, she's a teenager, obviously, in the film, but Herbie Fully Loaded, I think, is a film I have to give love to. Just as a kid, like, I remember it's on TV over and over again.
I guess, bro.
Is there any, like, sleeper film that maybe is bad that you like a Need for Speed or something?
I'll say Speed Racer. The live adaptation of Speed Racer.
Yeah.
It was very dumb. Very dumb. Very stupid. But I thought it was, like, cool at moments. I thought the moments were fun. Like, I felt like it was fun at moments. CGI's trash. Everything's trash about the movie, but I thought that at moments that movie was it had some stuff.
Okay. Listen, we're talking about F1. Before we dive into the film, Brad Pitt is the star of the movie. Of course, he has co-stars, but F1 has Brad Pitt, and he's the catalyst for the film, and I think it's doing an amazing job right now in the box office. We'll talk about it in a second, but if you had to speak about Brad Pitt's top 3 roles, in your opinion, what would they be, just off the top of your head?
So I'll go 7. 7 obviously has to be what's in the box. What's in the box? I'd have to go Ocean's 11.
Okay, Rusty, yeah.
I'd have to go with him and George Clooney in those movies. Come on, guys, we have to be serious. That's some serious stuff right there. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. It gets very tight here, man. Troy. Oh man. So I might take that one out. What did I say? Oceans?
Oh, yeah.
I might have to take Oceans out. Still, I'm gonna have to go 7. I'm gonna have to go Troy. Mr. and Mrs. Smith too, fam. What are we talking about here, guys? Fight Club. Have to go Fight Club.
Yeah.
Have to go Fight Club. So it goes 7. I go 7. I go Fight Club, and I have what did I say? 7 Fight Club and Troy. 7 Fight Club and Troy. Okay, and the last one I'm gonna have to go.
That's 3.
You said Mount Rushmore. That's 4.
I said top 3 roles.
I thought you said Mount Rushmore.
Top 3.
What's that, brother? What's that? Let me go my notes here, brother. Let me see.
I'm gonna ask you about the top movies after that, but these are just roles.
Oh yeah, it says Mount Rushmore movies of all time.
So I'm doing roles right now. Top 3 roles.
Oh.
Yeah.
So now I change it. You know what? Okay, it's all right. Yeah. I'm going Glorious Bastards then. Top 3 roles because he's hilarious in that.
Hilarious. Or LEMME.
I'm gonna have to go Troy. Troy, of course. Troy still stays up there.
Yep.
And I'd have to go. Honestly, roles then Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Tough.
As I would say, because he's hilarious in that one too.
All right, for me, for roles, I'm definitely gonna go Moneyball. I thought he was really good in that film.
He was. I could have went with that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeez.
I think you mentioned some great ones. I think for roles, I would definitely gonna go with 7, and then lastly, you know what? Let's switch it up, man. I'm gonna go with Bullet Train. I thought his role in that film was pretty good.
He was good in Bullet Train too.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's Mount Rushmore of films. But yo, he has so many films after Mount Rushmore. Let's do top 5. Top 5 Brad Pitt films.
7.
Yep.
Troy.
Yep.
Still stay up there. 7 Troy. Ocean's 7 Troy. Yeah, Ocean's 11.
Mm-hmm.
Fight Club. And Glorious Bastards.
Okay, there it is.
There it is.
Top 5 roles.
Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
We're leaving
should be in his role still.
I know. It's tough.
Burn after reading?
Reading. He's hilarious. Snatch. There's a whole bunch. All right, for the top 5 Brad Pitt movies I have for me is definitely going to be Fight Club. I got to go Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And Glorious Bastards, so that goes 3. I'm actually going to go World War Z for 4. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for 5.
Damn.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I can't wait to have a Brad Pitt episode. But man, speaking of Brad Pitt, let's transition into F1. Merv and I saw it in IMAX.
Yes,
the
we
way
did.
it was meant to be seen.
Yes. Our films are meant to be
First
seen.
reaction to F1.
Absolute. What is it? Absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. I think that the movie was. The story was very shallow.
Okay. Cliche.
Very cliche. Very shallow. But I like the depths of the story, though. That's if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I like the depths of each character kind of getting their own little depth.
Yeah.
Well, especially Damson and Brad, because I thought it was only gonna be a Brad thing, but Damson also got some depth too. To where his mom and his friend got like a lot of cameos. Not his actual mom and stuff, but his mom.
Yeah, the movie. Yeah.
But an exhilarating, action-packed racing movie that has lots of racing. A lot of integral parts of F1 that I didn't know. A lot of live shots from actual events. Man, I think that it's just what it does what it needs to do. That is an action movie.
Yeah.
That is an action sports movie. That for me is an action sports movie. That's what you consider. Because it's action, the sport. I don't know. I don't know what to say, bro.
I know. I was at a loss for words.
Me too. I was
we
just
left
like,
the theater and we're like, we looked at
there's
each other.
one shot in that movie that just is.
Oh man!
Everybody in the film went silent. Like you could hear a pin drop. It was literally that silent in the film. But anyways, sorry.
We know that it's directed by Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun. So you can see the similarities of him recreating that feeling, that thrilling feeling that you're talking about, sensational feeling that you're talking about. Produced by Lewis Hamilton, who's obviously one of the big dogs when it comes to racing history, who influenced Damson's character, especially early on in his career. I think that people said that Lewis Hamilton kind of had that, mentality.
Yeah.
In a sense. I love that the studio approached Lewis, and then Lewis took that to Brad Pitt. So we always speak about it. Any future basketball movies, you want to hire Scene DM's production to be consultants, because we'll let you know if that plays realistic or not.
Yes, we will.
And that's what Lewis Hamilton was doing. They said he was down to the sound. No, that doesn't sound right. That's not what would happen. We would kick it into this gear on this turn. And that's why the movie has that sense of authenticity and that realness to it. It's so raw. It's an original movie, man. Not using any IP. Obviously, the idea of Formula One is already out there.
Yeah.
But it's an original movie. So again, pro original movies that are winning right now in 2025. Let's go. And I learned that it was like a fire and Ferrari with Tom and Brad Pitt, where Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise actually read a script at Tom Cruise's house called not Ford vs Ferrari, sorry, called a movie Go Like Hell, but they scrapped it. So apparently they might do something else with a crossover with in the future with F1 and Days of Thunder. We'll see. But I thought it looked really good. It was gorgeous. The frames were incredible. We obviously know Hans Zimmer. We knew right away because the opening sequence, it just like just like a feel good experience.
Hans Zimmer, man.
I was like, yo, can I eat my popcorn first? I already feel like I'm locked in.
I'm gonna watch the movie again today, just because.
Right before the title sequence, I'm like, this is how you open a film right here, man. This is how you open.
This is cinema
right here, and it obviously has similar shots to, like I said, Top Gun. The insert shots of Brad Pitt getting ready to, you know what I'm saying, but. It's a cliche sports movie where it's the old guy returning to be a mentor, and he's trying to help out his new talented but flawed hotshot. And the theme of your biggest rival being your teammate outside of just an actual opponent is kind of crazy to me, because in basketball you kind of have that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, you want what's best for your teammate, but at the same time in practice, you're trying to go out the man in your position because you're trying to show your coach
that you're better than them, so you can play more minutes.
Play more.
Yeah.
So it's weird that I could kind of relate to that in that movie when you see that, and I never assumed that. Obviously, I didn't grow up watching F1, so I didn't know it was like that. And then they even said, like, typically, for you to know you're better than your teammate, it's no greater feeling right there, because you guys have the same built car setup.
Yeah.
Other cars have different setups. Other teams have different setups. So it's like mano a mano, who's faster, because we're racing the same build.
Yeah.
And we even see that in examples when Niki Lauda said that to James Hunt's character about like having a different whatever frame.
Yeah.
So like having a different car matters. So if you have the same car, because James Hunt also said that film like, give me that car, and I'm sure I'll beat him.
Yeah.
It's like having the same car and going one-on-one with somebody, it shows a lot. But how impressed were you with the fact that they got to film at these actual Grand Prix events? Because when I think about films like the movie Daddy's Home, where they filmed at a Lakers game.
Yeah.
And they showed,
game. Yeah.
They showed at
when he
halftime,
fell over.
Kobe was there, and it was just funny because they had Kobe for like, they said you have Kobe for 5 minutes because Kobe's like, you don't get, he's locked in on basketball. So they had him at halftime for like 5 minutes. He's like in one shot. And then seeing Will Ferrell actually hit the cheerleader, they had to get that down. And
I remember I saw the clip before the movie even came out because they posted it. Yeah.
But on Twitter.
Yeah.
But see them actually do that at a real game. So imagine going to an OKC Raptors game. They're like, yo, we're actually filming a movie for Will Ferrell, the guy. You guys are all a part of it. Just cheer. That's kind of cool, right? Being in the background.
But
so how do you feel about that?
It's cool. But like think about you in a basketball game. Like just think about like somebody being on the court, like just filming something.
Yeah.
As an actor, first of all, how do you even do that without like breaking down like, damn, like I'm doing all this in front of all these people. Like it's not a set. Like this is like you know what I mean? There's a bunch of people. So that's number one. But to think of somebody doing that in an event is like, especially, coming to our games, you probably need a lot of access to be able to do something like that. But to go to an F1 event that is obviously worth millions and millions of dollars to be at, it's such a cool thing that they were able to do. I even saw that they were able to get Formula 2 cars.
Yes.
Because they were supposed to get Formula 1s, but Formula 1 cars, they said, are like, they were $250,000 a day. So they're like, nah, we're not doing that. So they just got a bunch of F2 cars that were like only $20K a day and stuff like that, and they just like revamped them and made them look like F1 cars.
And I wonder if an F1 driver or fan notices the difference. Like
that's what I said. I wanted to see, but I don't know.
It looked amazing.
Exactly, I didn't know no difference. So everybody was saying that they're possibly would look different, but even the fact that they're able to shoot and like get that like quickly, like you said, like the Kobe in Daddy's Home is like that 5 minutes of Kobe, or like they said that they only got 10 minutes to shoot those scenes of them being on the track. And I'm just like thinking like, yo, 10 minutes, like you can't mess up. Like you got to practice this like months and months in advance. Because if there's one mess up, fam, you don't have like 6 takes. You have 2 takes max, if that, maybe 1.5. So you got to get it right. So I'm just like, yo, fam, this is impeccable that they're able to get it done. And like just think about like, damn, what would they have done if they never got it? Like, what would they have done? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how would you have figured it out?
Ruin the whole timeline of the movie.
Exactly. Would you have to change the entire story? Like,
we
how
had
would
the
it work?
CGI. It cost more money.
Exactly. So,
but speaking about the practicality, the reason why I love this film is because the fans, the audience, you hear it, you feel it. You're actually there. It's emphatic.
Yeah.
And when you watch films like Days of Thunder or even like Ford vs Ferrari, I could see that some of the fans, the audience is CGI and it's simulated. So to actually have these these sequences being filmed at these events, like the even the anthem scenes, I was getting chills. Like yo, like this is us preparing for our basketball game, and they're there, and then you have the cameos of all the F1 actual drivers,
Lewis, Max, all those guys. Yeah,
so
I'm learning names now. Still,
so sick. You know what? And that's what we love about cinema, when it teaches you something. So like, not only did this film educate me about the different nuances, I'm gonna say that's one of the strongest things I love about the film is the hand holding. Like I feel like sometimes it could be too annoying, but as someone who's new to this sport, having them explain via the actual real broadcasters, via the actual headset of like why they're maneuvering, how they're maneuvering, what strategies they're utilizing, and why they're getting out the safety car, and what Pitt is actually doing as Sonny Hayes' character to kind of help get an advantage for his team, seeing why they have to win a certain amount of races so they could gradually
and like the point system and everything like that.
All that. I thought the exposition behind how the whole entirety sport of F1 works was amazing to me, and it was conveyed amazing. Like I thought Joseph Kosinski did a great job of cutting and editing it. So if you're a casual fan, or if you're a obsessed fan, or if you're someone who doesn't know the sport at all, it's like an entry point for everybody to kind of enjoy it. Because I'm sure if you're a real F1 fan, there's still some terminology through in there that you're like, oh yeah, that's dope.
I knew that. I know what's going on, kind of thing.
Kind of like if they had a basketball film and they utilized the same type of things for us. So thought that was cool. There's a total of 12 races in that movie. So incredible that they're able to visit these different sites. And they talk about the invented camera system. I thought that was cool. They had to invent an actual camera just so they could be able to shoot these type of sequences. Because again, when it comes to the racing, I think that this is the best film when it showcases the actual racing. It was budgeted at $300 million. Right now, it's on pace to make it's at $300 million. And we're not even like a month in. So it's going to continue to make money because of the word of mouth and how well it's being rated critically, but also audience score wise. But didn't you notice? Like, this is one of the films where I'm like, I see why it costs that much money. The fireworks.
Fam, everything about that movie was expensive. The cars, even just seeing the cars, even getting a visual of the cars, it was expensive. It felt like. So I feel like everything that went into that, to be at every event, to be doing everything that they did, to even having to crash cars, you know what I mean, those same cars that they're renting, to crash those cars and to keep getting more, you know what I mean, it's just like, yo, that's crazy. So I think that like that entire process, like I'm honestly shocked that it wasn't more money, to be honest with you, because to even be at those events, to be in Dubai when they're having the last event too, like, and to film during those times, like I guarantee it wasn't cheap. So I don't know, that's dope though.
But we love that they invented that new camera system, the 25 prototypes separating the lens from the actual battery of the parts of the camera. So they put the battery of the camera under the car, and they put the lens in other places, so they're able to have a different camera setup. 16 cameras on one car sometimes at one point. They had 4 running for takes, and then 2 were that were operable, so they're moving. So there's a couple scenes where like it pans from Brad Pitt to showing the rest of the track. Like, nah, gang is really driving out here, bro. Like, that is so sick to me, to having the camera mounted on the front with the ability to pan and kind of emphasize that it wasn't Brad on a rig.
Yeah.
It wasn't Brad having a stunt person. It was him. Thought that was pretty cool. It was a simple movie, like you said, in terms of the chess game, but, man, Damson Idris, having a history with him with Snowfall and other stuff, I thought he did his part.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that the acting was, you know what I'm saying, like the characters and everything was out of this world, but I loved in terms of Brad Pitt's performance in the sense of like when he was on the balcony with the girl and their kind of cute moment that they had on the balcony in Vegas. I thought that was like a showcasing of, okay, Brad Pitt still has that chemistry.
Yeah, he still can act like that, man.
Feeling.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ruben, for demolishing not one, but both of your lovely cars, for coming back into your life only to destroy it. Is this your revenge for Monaco?
Yeah, I waited 30 years and came all this way to humiliate myself on global television.
Honey, you think I brought you in to make my other driver quit?
Listen, he's cocky, he's arrogant, he's got a lot to learn.
You were cocky, you were arrogant, and you had a lot to learn.
I'm not here to hold anyone's hand. I'm here to race.
No, you're not. Sonny, you're here to give me a heart attack. I have to decide whether to continue this fiasco or pull the plug now.
You have till the end of the season.
By which time Apex will be worth less than my shoes!
I thought that was dope. It was actually interesting though, because it was like one of the only movies, because I was thinking about all the racing movies we were talking about. It was one of the only movies where the rivalry took place within instead of through any outside villains. You know what I mean? Like I felt like the whole thing had no like opposite team kind of feel, you know what I mean? Like where it was like, oh, you're going up against a different team. Like no, it was within each other. Like from Damson and Brad to the one committee guy who was trying to who was trying to mess everything up. Like I felt like that. So that was like when you were talking about it, I was just like, damn, that was one of the only movies I can think of that's like racing wise where it was a team thing. Like Days of Thunder, it was obviously Rowdy, whatever his name is. Even in Talladega Nights, it was Sasha. Cars, it was the next man. You know what I mean? Everything had like every racing movie we talked about. Rush is literally 2 guys going against each other.
You're right.
I don't know if Ferrari had that, but had like a enemy.
Nah, it was beef.
Yeah, something like that. Because even Ford versus Ferrari is like the title. Is like they're going up against Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything like that. So I don't know. That's what I just realized though.
Nah, I think you're right about that. I think it's cool because this movie has that corporate influence in the sense where it's that corporate synergy, because they choose to spotlight the experience of the sport and they have all that branding. So it didn't feel forced. You know, some movies sometimes it's like, oh, they're forcing the branding, but it felt like they're just bringing us a part of the world of F1 to the point where F1 was okay with it, because now it's showcasing the sport and putting it on a new level where now they're gonna have all these new fans, right? You know how sometimes we're talking about like we don't know if, like when we talk about that movie, I always joke about with our guy Jean-Claude Van Damme, where he's fighting the bomb threat in the NHL game, becomes a goalie. I always think about stuff where I'm like, the NHL really want that, because then it gives off like terrorism in the hockey game. So is that what they want to promote? But this film is like, nah, they're promoting this because it's gonna help F1.
Bro, the F1 drivers just got millions of dollars. It's like the CBA. It's like they just got like a whole different agreement now because of this movie alone. Like you're gonna get so many different fans, so much new merchandising deals and everything like that just simply from this movie. So I think that those guys are amped. They probably Lewis is probably getting like a cut from the movie and everything like that too. So I think that like that part of it is like if I was an F1 driver, I wouldn't even be cheesed. I'd be like, yeah, fam, come to the event, do everything you got to, because now you're gonna give us way more fans and everything like that. So.
And then when we speak about Brad Pitt's performance, I always make this connection, but it reminds me of his real life kind of stuff that he's going, the personal life, because he's kind of had a little setback recently, even just in his personal life, right?
Yeah.
So to see him kind of just like, he's trying to tune out that, and then he's just trying to focus on driving. I related to that story, especially when his character spoke about that car crash that he had.
Yeah.
And that's a frequent thing we're seeing in all these movies. There has to be a car crash.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because they're driving, and then it like makes it harder to get back in the car.
Exactly. And that's how you build the redemption story, which you always speak about. So him having the car crash in the prime of his career, and then now he's just driving for the passion of it. It just reminds me of like me getting hurt in the prime of my career of basketball, and then it's like, why do you still hoop? When everyone's like, why are you still hooping, bro? You played for Team Canada. You played at some of the highest levels or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, it's not just for the money, bro. Like, it's the passion behind it, that feeling.
Yeah.
And that feeling you're speaking about in the theater when you can hear a pin drop is when he's experienced and explained what it's like when you're in that euphoric state, that performance state, that flow state that John talks about. Shout out to John. And you're getting that mode of being like at peace and tranquility. And it's like your sanctuary. This is why I play this sport. This is why I do what I do. I know you feel that sometimes when you're playing basketball.
Yeah.
When the basket feels like an ocean.
Yeah.
And nothing else matters. You can't hear the crowd.
Yeah.
You don't worry about mistakes. You can't hear the opposition, the referee. You're just in your bag.
Yeah.
So having that moment,
the flow state's crazy. You can't even do the move. You can't do the move, the action all over again, because you're like, fam, I don't even know what happened.
I don't even know what happened. You had 40? Yeah. I don't even know how I did it. Oh, I did that? That's crazy. So having that feeling when you're watching F1 and being in the car and then having it while we're watching it in IMAX and feeling like you're floating and you're flying in a vehicle, I thought it was a great choice to kind of drown out the sound. One of the highlights of the moments for the shots for me, seeing him continue to drive, having Lewis tell him like, nah, this sequence should be at the end, the Baja sequence not be at the front. I think just the attention to detail is a testament to why this film is doing so well critically, but also box office wise. And it's going to be one of those great films that we're going to see might win some awards for editing, sound, visuals when it comes to the award season.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But while you were talking about that, I had a question. Do you think the NBA could ever have something like that? Like in the sense of having somebody actually be there, like not like a Will Ferrell, but like be in warm-ups, like actually be in the game and actually be able to film something during a basketball game? Or like, do you think that because of how the NBA, obviously we play basketball, that would be so difficult for us to do? Because like if I'm going in a game, I'm trying to murder this guy. So like, unless it was like something like, you know what I mean? It would be
I think it's possible, man. Like
you really do.
I do, because I would utilize the preseason games, or I would utilize like NBA Summer League. Obviously, it's not the same stars, but preseason, I would be like, we're shooting a movie, you know what I'm saying? Bron, come out here for 5 minutes, because preseason doesn't really matter, right? So, like, the stakes aren't as high. So, depending on what you want to get off. Like,
but, I mean, nowadays, people want to get contracts, man. They're
they
not
do.
Gonna, remember,
they do.
Teams don't even make their players play for that long. Like you said, get that 5-10 minutes. And, like, if we're going to use a spot on, like, a movie, and then, like,
it would have to be like financially beneficial for all parties involved for them to want to do it. Like,
because I was thinking like, yo, because like I would have a story. I'm not gonna give it to the people because obviously the TV. But there's and then what if a man wins a championship? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how is he? How can he be like, I won MVP, I won championship, and like say like the man somebody did this year and like push Shea out the way and like had they had the stuff like on. They were like this. Like, bro, like Shea would be like, yo, what is going on?
It'd be kind of cool. It's like Mike, but on a grander scale.
In a sense, like Mike did an All-Star game, and then they had the NBA players come out. Like so it's different than like you actually being there, like like imagine you're at Crypto or you're at Scotiabank and you're actually on the court. You're actually playing a game like fam, like, and then the cameras are supposed to be there and not there the same. You couldn't do it still.
Just right had to use fake arenas, fake teams, so it wasn't the same. They had D-Wade come out, but like it wasn't all the same players.
Exactly.
Players. So you're right. I wonder if it's possible. I think it should be. It could be.
And football, hell no, they gonna die.
Nah, for sure. But I mean, man. So what is your final ratings of F1 if you had to rate it?
Out of 5 stars, I'll give it a strong 4. A strong 4, just because it does what it's supposed to, and it gives you something new that you want to explore. You want to explore F1. You want to explore that universe. And it's a real thing, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, it's like a made up universe or something like that. It's like something that you can tangibly go watch and go follow and everything like that. So I think that what it does, I give it a 4, to be honest with you.
I give it a 4.2 out of 5. I say I like the twist. because again at the end we thought, okay, Damson was just gonna win or whatever, but
Yeah.
they had that nice twist with the crashes. I do think it was long, but I'm not gonna lie. At 2
Every part
hours
was-
and what it was worth it.
Every
for me.
part was needed.
It was needed. It was worth it. Spending time at all these races. That's one thing I kind of didn't like about some of the other movies, like the Ford versus Ferrari. I felt the races were too quick, especially in Rush. In
Yeah.
Rush, I was like, oh, we're moving from
we're
race to race
speeding
here.
through. Yeah,
Fam, I thought this was a whole
you're
different race.
lap one, and then like, wait, fam, the race is done.
That car crash? Is it? Okay, all right. Well, this one really got into it, so I would say 4.2 out of 5. Do you think this movie needs a sequel?
Sequel, I saw somebody write, which I was like, damn, this actually would have been better. I think I sent it to you, where a guy wrote that how they could have made the movie better is made, if they wanted to do a sequel, is have Brad Pitt's character at the beginning, or his whole problem is that he had a wife and 3 kids, but he left them because he was depressed and didn't know how to do it. He went through this, did his whole thing, whatever, and then like it finishes with him winning, and then like in the sequel is 20 years later or 15 years later, whatever, or and his kid is now in F1 on the same team as Damson. And then it was like Damson's teaching him, and it's like your rivalry is a different team now because of blah blah blah. Like that would have been a cool way to do it. And they said even if you wanted to make it like way more like inclusive as well, you could have been made it be his daughter, and then she was the one driving, and then now she's in F1 and she's trying. That's why I said I was like, yo, that sounds tough, but I feel like with how they did it, like it was a good send off. I don't think it needs a sequel, and it can be a sequel. I feel like
great send off. I like the whole like murder for hire. Like I'm a driver for hire.
Yeah,
I'll drive for
exactly.
anybody. But
And
like,
they like at the end where they like kind of knew who he was, but they like didn't like
Like,
say
you sure we
anything.
can't
Like,
pay you? Like-
yeah, they're like, yo, Sonny. He's like, Sonny Hayes. He's like, Sonny Hayes. Yeah. Like, you know, we don't can't pay you. We don't pay nothing. He's like, yeah, it's not. I'm not here for that. So
I want to give a quick shout out before we end this act and go into the Scene DM's trivia, the heat check. Javier Bardem, we didn't mention his name, but he did an immaculate job with his character.
man,
And you
oh
said-
yeah, he acted his ass off.
You made a great point where you walked out and you're like, there's levels to this. Like when you watch certain actors and in a room with other actors, they could be seasoned, they could be new, but there's some type of characters and actors that are able to embody these performances in such a way where you're like, you could tell there's like a difference in class. It kind of reminds you you're watching a basketball game and you're like, oh no, this guy's
Like
he's way better than
you see like a
everybody else.
player that shouldn't be like in college. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and he's murdered.
He's
like,
ready
yeah,
for the big
yeah,
leagues.
he's
That's
ready.
how I felt. Like he was so comfortable in his role. Everybody looked great too. The
Yeah.
suits were immaculate. The styles were great. The wardrobe was incredible. But him looking great, but also just the way he was able to just be funny in certain moments,
Yeah.
but also be stern in certain moments, and then be emotional in the hospital. Like, son, you didn't tell me. Like, I would never let you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just all the different versatile ranges that he had to hit. I thought Javier Bardem is one of the reasons why I love him as an actor. Or
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men, et cetera, man.
Man, he's one hell of an actor, and you know I love him in all of his movies, and I think that in this movie he, like I said, like you just said, he acted his ass off, man. Like I felt like he was his character, like he was like the physical embodiment of his character. Like I felt Brad Pitt was as well. Like I felt like everybody in that movie was kind of there, but him, like he like elevated every scene that he was in. Like he like stole the show of the scene of every scene he was in, I would say. So that's why like I even said that is because I felt like everything he stole the show. So that was great about it.
Yes, sir. Love that movie. You guys should go check it out in IMAX if you haven't seen it yet in theaters. Just keep the cinema experience going. But let's get on to the Scene DM's heat check. Any questions?
Is it me?
Yeah. I can go if you.
Oh, no worries.
Here we go.
Alrighty. Let's see what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty.
Man about to ask me car names. I don't know no specific car.
No, not at all.
Okay.
In Formula One, the movie, how many races are there in a year? In a season, sorry.
Are there 12 races in a season?
Is that your answer?
Yes.
Incorrect.
What is it?
Double that. It's 24 races.
24 races?
24 races in a
Jeez.
season.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, over one?
Learn something new every day.
Over one. You watched the movie, so you should know, but whatever. Yeah. What do I know?
I was locked in.
Yeah, what do I know? All right. In Ford versus Ferrari, what was the full name of the new car that Ford made?
I just said this guy's gonna ask your car name.
That they made that was the fast car that was like now that we know of.
The one that kept malfunctioning with the brake pad?
Yes, but that's the, remember at the end of the movie it said like Ford makes this new car because of
Is it a
guys.
Porsche?
No, brother.
No. What is it?
The Ford GT 400.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, 40. Sorry, 40.
So okay, never mind.
Yeah, the Ford GT40, bro.
Tough.
So that's over 2.
Over 2, bro. Yeah, nice.
Cool. My countries are kind of elite still. What country, in the movie Rush, what country was Niki Lauda from?
Austria.
Correct. Correct. 1 for 3. 1 for 3. Wow. He knows what he's doing, fellas. He knows what he's doing, fellas.
That thing like Monica on basketball.
And Cars, the movie. What was the race that Lightning McQueen, the King, and Chick Hicks were going to race in?
Bro, I haven't watched
for the
Cars
rematch
in a minute, bro.
What was it called? What was the race called?
Le Mans?
Incorrect. Jesus Christ, incorrect. Piston Cup Championship.
The Piston Cup Championship.
Piston Cup. Everybody knows the Piston Cup, bro.
Everybody knows the Piston Cup, bro.
Yeah, 1 for 4. Everybody knows the Piston Cup. Molly, you know the Piston Cup? Thank you. All right, thank you. That's all I know.
Detroit basketball.
1 second. All right. One more question. He's 1 for 4, ladies and gentlemen. 1 for 4. You recently watched Turbo?
No.
Okay, bet. In the movie Turbo, who voiced Turbo?
Ryan Reynolds.
Damn it. Jeez.
I remember that much.
Oh, jeez. All right, yeah.
Yes,
2 for 2
sir.
for 5.
2 for 5, yo. Step up for me from last time. Hopefully I can make 3 for 5 next time. What did Leah say? At first you don't succeed, dust yourself
Try
off and try again. But we're at the CDS Let Me Push You On segment. Merv, 2 movies that you'd recommend for the fans to watch, racing movies only.
F1.
Yep.
Obviously. Fire movie. I actually just recommended this movie to my old coach from Australia. Spoke to him on the phone. And the next one I would have to recommend, if you haven't seen, I would say Rush. I actually like Rush. I like Rush a lot. So I keep saying Rush, so I'll go Rush.
Nice. I would definitely go Talladega Nights if you haven't seen it. Definitely a classic. And I'm going to stick with the old school nostalgic movies. So I'm going to go Too Fast, Too Furious. These are 2 movies that you should have seen. If you haven't seen it, I'm putting you on game right now. You're missing out. But yes, sir, we have a great episode coming up next week. We're going to be reviewing the Jurassic Park series franchise. We just watched the movie. We have a lot to talk about. But it's been a great episode today. New location. Looks amazing. Loving it here at the LEC. Shout out to Marlon for scouting this location. Yo, Marlon just...
Yeah, big time store. Big time store.
But man, it's been a fun episode talking about racing cars, talking about all these movies that has to do with cars. Hopefully you guys had a good time enjoying this episode. Merv, same time, same place next week.
See ya.